What if I told you that just a handful of words from Johnny Depp were enough to break millions of hearts, and at the same time, heal them too? That sounds impossible, doesn't it? How can words break you and comfort you at once? Yet that's exactly what happened. Johnny's words, spoken with such quiet honesty, left people stunned. They weren't rehearsed, they weren't written for a movie script. They were real, raw, and unforgettable. People still talk about them, replay them, share them, and carry them like a secret reminder tucked inside their hearts. And if you listen closely to what he said, you might find yourself hearing something you didn't know you needed to. Think about your own life for a second. Have you ever been going through something so heavy that you felt like there was no way out? You put on a brave face for everyone else, but when you were alone, it all came crashing down. Maybe it was heartbreak. Maybe it was failure. Maybe it was the weight of feeling misunderstood. And then, out of nowhere, you hear something, maybe from a friend, maybe from a stranger, that shifts the way you see everything. That's the kind of moment we're talking about. That's the effect Johnny had when he spoke. His words weren't just lines. They were a mirror. They made people stop, think, and whisper, "That's me." Johnny Depp has never been just another Hollywood actor. He's always been different. He built his career playing characters that were misfits, outsiders, dreamers, people who didn't quite fit in. And that wasn't by accident. Those roles spoke to him because in many ways, they reflected who he was inside. Behind the charm, behind the fame, there's a man who's been tested again and again. A man who's carried battles in public and in private. He's been loved, hated, celebrated, and judged. And through it all, one thing has remained: he never pretended to be perfect. Now imagine living under a spotlight that magnifies every flaw. Every mistake you make isn't just whispered about, it's shouted across headlines, analyzed on talk shows, argued about by people who don't even know you. Most of us can barely handle the pressure of being judged by a small group of friends or coworkers. Imagine the whole world watching, waiting, ready to pounce. That's the storm Johnny lived in for years. And yet, when someone asked him how he keeps going, how he survives it all, his answer wasn't filled with bitterness or anger. He didn't lash out. He didn't build walls. He said something heartbreakingly simple: you just find the light and follow it. 7 words. Just 7. But those 7 words carried the weight of an entire lifetime. They weren't fancy. They weren't polished. They weren't designed to impress. They were the truth. And sometimes, the simplest truths are the ones that change us the most. What did he mean by that light? He wasn't talking about the bright flashes of cameras or the Hollywood spotlight. He wasn't talking about success, money, or fame. He was talking about something much deeper. That light is the spark inside us. It's the reason we get out of bed when everything feels heavy. It's the thing that keeps us moving, even when the road is dark. For some, that light is their family. For others, it's a dream, a passion, a memory, or even just the tiny hope that tomorrow might be kinder. That's what Johnny was pointing to. Not a destination. Not a grand prize. Just the small, steady glow that reminds us to keep going. And here's the part that broke hearts. It wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. His voice carried the weight of someone who had lived it. This wasn't a polished line from a movie. This wasn't advice written by a team of PR people. It was Johnny himself, stripped of characters and costumes, admitting that even he, someone adored by millions, has had to search for light in the dark. Fans felt it immediately. They realized, in that moment, that the man they admired wasn't untouchable. He was just as human as they were. He had scars, doubts, nights of loneliness. And he wasn't afraid to admit it. That admission broke people's hearts because it held up a mirror. So many of us fight to look strong, to act like everything's okay, even when it's not. To hear someone like Johnny, someone who seemed to have it all, admit that he too has to find light, it was devastating and comforting all at once. It reminded people that it's okay to struggle. That it's okay not to have all the answers. That what matters most isn't how strong you look, but how willing you are to keep searching for hope. And that's what made his words a guiding light. They weren't just advice. They weren't instructions. They were a gift. A reminder that resilience doesn't mean pretending the storm isn't there. It means keeping your eyes fixed on the tiniest spark that helps you through it. Think about how many times we get trapped staring at the storm. We replay the problems in our head. We magnify them until they consume everything. We convince ourselves there's no way out. But Johnny's words shift our focus. Don't get lost in the storm. Don't get swallowed by the noise. Look for the light. Even if it's small. Even if it feels far away. Follow it. The beauty of this is that your light doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It doesn't have to be dramatic or grand. It could be the smile of your child. The memory of someone you love. The dream of starting fresh. Or even just the belief that you've survived every hard day before, so maybe you can survive this one too. Your light is yours, and that's what makes it powerful. Psychologists have a word for this kind of thing. They call it a guiding anchor. In therapy, people are often encouraged to find one thing, just one, that makes life feel worth living. It doesn't have to be big. Sometimes it's as simple as a hobby, a promise, a relationship, or a dream. Research shows that people who hold on to even a small sense of hope are more likely to overcome struggles, depression, and trauma. Johnny may not have used those exact terms, but his words tapped into the same truth. He said it in plain language, you just find the light and follow it. And maybe that's why his message spread like wildfire. It wasn't hidden behind jargon or complicated theories. It was something anyone could understand. Whether you were a fan in Hollywood or someone watching from halfway across the world, those words made sense. They connected instantly. They reached people who didn't even know they needed them. For some, his words became a lifeline. People wrote letters saying, "Johnny, when you said that, it felt like you were talking directly to me." Others shared stories of how they used that line to pull themselves out of dark moments. It wasn't because the words were magical. It was because they were true. And the truth has power. And here's the part we can't ignore. His words didn't just reveal resilience. They revealed honesty. And honesty connects us more deeply than perfection ever could. So many public figures hide behind walls. They pretend. They act. They try to appear untouchable. But Johnny did the opposite. He let the mask fall. He showed his scars. And in doing so, he reminded everyone that it's okay to be human. That kind of honesty is rare, and it's why his words still echo today. So let me ask you this. What's the light you're following right now? Is it your family? Your kids? A dream you refuse to let go of? Or maybe it's something smaller, something only you know about. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Because that light is yours. And no matter how dark things get, it will guide you forward. Johnny's words may have broken hearts, but they also stitched them back together. They reminded us that no one is immune to struggle, but no one is without hope either. His story isn't over, and neither is yours. The storm may rage, but the light is always there. Waiting. Guiding. Calling you forward. And if those words touched your heart, if they made you pause and think about your own journey, then maybe it's time to share them. Share them with someone who needs a reminder that they're not alone. Share them with someone who's searching for their light. Because sometimes, all it takes is a simple reminder to change someone's direction. So, I'll ask you one last time. What's your light? Think about it. Say it out loud. Write it down. Share it with the world. Because just like Johnny said, once you find it, all you have to do is follow it.